by stretching our feet, a very neglected area. So I want you to just push yourself back, opening up your feet, and then come right back. Push back and forward. So if this is a problem on your knees, you can double up your mat, or you can place something like a pillow or a folded blanket under your knees. So we're opening up our knees first. Opening up our feet first. Gonna open up the front of our legs next. So push back, opening those feet. You're opening the space between the balls of your feet and your heels, right in that arch area. Let's go 2 more. We have 2. And last 1. So from here, I'm going to uncurl my feet. I'm going to place my feet so that the tops of my feet are on the mat. Now this may be difficult for some, so if that doesn't feel good for you, you can stay right where you are with the feet curled. So I'm going to start, I'm going to open my knees. So opening my knees, and I'm going to bring my feet together. Knees are apart. So I'm going to start by bringing my hands a little bit further away so they're no longer underneath my shoulders, reaching up toward the front of the mat, and I'm going to push myself back, and I'm going to come forward. So opening up. So I'm opening up my arms. I'm also going to open up my hip flexors. We're going to just make the stretch a little more deep in just a second. So what I like about active stretching is that you're going to get some warmth before you start to stretch, so you can really protect those muscles. You don't want to stretch a cold muscle. So now let's go a little bit deeper. So from here, we're going to come forward, push forward, and then we're going to push back. So we're opening up the hip flexors, going to get into a chest opener 2, pushing forward and back. And again, if this bothers your knees, you can always double up on the mat or place a rug, a blanket, a pillow underneath those knees. Last 2 here. Last 1. So from here, I'm going to come back to my 4-point stance. So my knees are in line with my hip and my wrists are in line with my shoulders. So let's bring the legs out a little more toward the edge of the mat. So now we're going shoulder width with the knees. And I'm going to keep the feet back into that point, and I'm going to bring my hands and I'm going to lace them right through, and I'm going to come back to center. So we're starting to warm up the side of our body, but we're also getting a little bit of opening in the back of our body, so our glutes. So just place the hand to the mat and then just thread it through. Place the hand to the mat and thread through. So this active stretching, it's going to be a little more heart racing than a normal stretch, but we don't want to take it too fast because it is our rest day. So let's switch sides. So we're just pulling through. We just thread that arm through. Just thread it through. And thread. So as you're threading, we want to keep our core engaged. So keep the navel pulled up because we're strengthening as we lengthen. Last 2 here. Last 1. So from here, I'm going to come back into 4-point stance. Hands or wrists are underneath the shoulders. Knees are underneath those hips. I'm going to come back onto the curl. So I'm going to bring my arms a little more forward to the mat. Press myself up into a downward dog. So we're going to come up and press. So you may want to walk your feet up just a little bit more. Legs are hip width apart and your fingers are spread. And we're going to bend the knees and then straighten the legs. So bend and straighten. So actively stretching the back of the legs, the Achilles tendons, through the hamstrings, navel's in and up. We're going to deepen the stretch in just a second. Last 2 here. Last 1. So this last one, I'm going to straighten my legs out. And I'm going to push my chest so it comes between my arms. So we're starting here. We're going to gaze down and push your chest so it goes through the arms. Now, if you're unable to go that far, it's perfectly fine. Stay where you are. You can also stay where you were before with the bending. Take another breath where you are. And now we're going to do a little pedal. So we're going to just pedal, switching sides. And switch. And switch. And switch. So if you find your feet are slipping or moving, you can just go ahead and adjust. I had to readjust. So you're pedaling and switch, and switch, and switch, switch. Almost done. 4, each side, 3, still pedaling, 2, and 1. So from here, I'm going to come back down to my knees, and I'm going to come into a child's pose. So that's the ultimate stretch. So I'm going to just relax, bring my chest down to my thighs, reach my hands in front of me, and then let my head just hang to the mat. Opening up the back, relaxing the shoulders. You can also turn your palms up so you can relax your wrist. Take a deep breath there. So we're going to slowly roll up, and we're going to go right into some, what I call a runner or sprinter stretch. So we're going to come back to that lunge position, and then we're going to bring one foot up. So I want you to place your foot right in between your hands. You're going to scoot your toes a little bit closer to the mat because we're going to push forward and stretch out the opposite side. You'll see it better when I turn to the other side, but I want you to see this hip too. So hands are coming on either side of this leg, and then you're going to push yourself forward to stretch out the hip flexor of the opposite leg. We're going to get a little deeper into this hip in just a second, so you can stay right here if you like. Now if you want a little bit more, you're going to bring both hands to the inside of that bent leg. Take a breath. Opening up. We're going to bring our hands right back to the outside, and then we're going to roll up onto that heel to get a little more active. So we're going to bend, come forward, and then rock up onto the heel of that foot to stretch out the back of the leg. So active movement in the stretch. Lengthening and strengthening in one stretch. Long and strong is our goal. Last 2 are coming. Forward, roll back, last 1, and back. So we're going to switch sides, bringing the opposite leg in between the hands. We're going to scoot that foot up toward the front of the mat so we can stretch out the hip flexors on the opposite leg. Hands are on either side of the leg, and we're going to push ourselves forward. So we're opening up that hip flexor, also getting an inner thigh stretch. Hands stay on the outside. We're going to deepen both of these stretches on the next session. So we want to just open here, or the next group of stretches, I should say. And then if you want a little bit deeper, you're going to bring both hands to the inside of that leg. So you're deepening the stretch. I'm going to take another breath right here. We're going to go right into that active stretching, that moving, that lunging forward and backward. So bring the opposite hand to the outside. Rock up on that heel and then press forward. Rock up on the heel, open the back of that leg, and then press yourself forward. And again, if this bothers your knees, you may want to double up on your mat. You can fold the mat, or you can actually use 2 yoga mats. I've done that before in a class that had like a concrete floor that I took one time. It was awful on my knees. I didn't go back, to say the least, right? And stretch forward. And roll back. Last 2, opening up that hip flexor, opening up the Achilles, hamstring, calf. Last one right here, forward and back. So I'm going to come back to my hands and knees. We're going to deepen that stretch. So we're going to bring the leg, opposite leg, switching. Go ahead and do the same thing. Come up to the forward part of the mat, and then press yourself forward. So we're going to bring both hands once again on the inside. Now this is if you want to deepen that stretch. You can always keep here. Now if you want to go deeper, both hands are coming right to the inside of the leg. And then we're going to come down to that outside elbow, opening up more of the hip flexor and that inner thigh. And then if you want even more, come down to the other elbow. Now let your head hang heavy. These are all options. You can always stay up. Let's take another breath here. Let's slowly come up, one hand and then the other, and then bring that hand back on the outside. So from here, I'm going to rock up onto that heel, and I'm going to slowly lower myself down. I'm going to put my fingertips, and I'm going to come back up. So lower down, chest toward thigh, and come back up. So just that small movement is going to deepen the stretch in the hamstring, the calf, lower down, and then come back up. So my gaze is at the mat. Lower and lift. lower, and lift. 3 more, lower, and lift. We're getting long and strong in this session. Last time, and lift. Time to switch sides. So let's bring the legs back. We're in that 4-point stance. Bring the opposite leg up. Scoot that leg, that foot up to the front of the mat for your deeper lunge. We're going to roll forward. Now if you want to, you stay right here. If you want to go further, deepening the stretch, we're bringing both hands to the inside of the leg. And then to go even deeper, we're going to lower down to the outside elbow. So this is the option. Elbow. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you come both elbows. Keep your head just hanging. Relax. We're going to take a couple of breaths here. Navel still pulled in. And we're going to come back up. Hand and opposite hand. Bring that hand to the outside and then come right up onto the heel of the foot. So I'm going to come up to my fingertips and then I'm going to lower down, chest toward thigh, and then slowly push back up. Lower down and push back up. So I'm keeping my gaze at the mat. I don't want to look up because I don't want to crane my neck. I want to just relax the neck, lower and lift. Lower, deepen that stretch on the back of my leg, and lift. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Last 2 here, and lift. Last 1. And lift. I'm going to bring my hands back, come back to the lunge. I'm going to bring my legs open, feet together, and come back into that familiar, yummy child pose. Just let your head hang heavy. My feet are together, but my knees are apart. I'm just going one side to open up my neck, resting my head on the mat, and then going to the opposite side. I'm going to slowly roll myself up. I'm going to swing my legs forward. So I'm going to come forward on the mat. And I'm going to place my feet hip width apart. And I'm going to roll myself down. So I'm going to slip my hands underneath my knees and slowly roll myself down, bringing my legs up into tabletop. Let me scoot up a little bit. I need some space in the mat here. So I'm going to come back here to tabletop. I'm going to open at the knees, diamond legs. My feet are together. My knees are apart. And I'm going to press the inside of my hands right to the knees there, opening up. Take a little breath there. From here, I'm going to bring my feet a little bit closer. Place one hand right at the arch of my feet, and then I'm just going to open up. Little happy baby to open up the inner thighs. Another breath there. So from here, I'm going to bring my legs back together, get a little more active in the stretch, bring both feet up, going to interlace my finger and just grab one of my legs. So I'm going to lower that one leg down, place it on the mat, then I'm going to pull slowly and then come back to center. So pull the leg toward the face and then back to center. And pull. So active stretch. Now if you would like, you can take your hand away and then just bring it back and forward. I like to have a little more control, so I like to keep my hand there. So active stretch. Pull forward and then back. Pull forward, bring the leg back. Last 2 here. Last 1. I'm going to bring both legs up. Place the opposite leg down. Switching sides, interlace that finger and pull forward and then bring the leg back. Pull forward and back. So it doesn't matter where you place your hands. They may be a little bit here on the hamstring. They can be behind the knee or at the calf muscle. It really depends on you, your length of your arms, the deepness of the stretch that you want to attain. Last 2 are coming. 2, I'm just playing with the placement. Last 1. So from here, I'm going to bring both legs up. I'm going to open so that my feet are together, but my toes are apart, heels are together. I'm going to bring my hands right to the mat, and I'm going to just bring my legs toward my face, opening up my back, and then come right back. Tiny move. Forward, opening up my lower back, and then right back to the center. So you start with your ankle, knees, and hips all in one line. Then you simply bring the legs forward toward your face, and then come back. Stretching that lower back. Bring the legs forward, and then back. Bring them forward and back. We have 4 more. Then we're going to finish up with a V-sit. Forward toward the face and back. Bend the knees if you need to. Forward and back. Last time. Forward and back. Bring your feet together. I'm going to rock myself up. I'm going to come to a V-sit on the mat. So I'm going to come forward. So I'm going to place one ankle at that corner of the mat and the other ankle the opposite. Now, if this is not good for you, you can always bend the knees, a little spider. Perfectly fine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and open mine. You can stay in that little spider-like pose if you like. And I'm going to just place my hands right on the mat. So my shoulders are nice and low. And then I'm going to walk myself out, reaching, and I'm going to walk myself back in. So walking out and walking in. Walking out and walking in. So I'm just showing that you can go as deep as you want. You don't have to go too deep. Walking out and walking in. Last 2, walking out and walking in. So from here, I'm going to reach over and then reach it back. Reach it over and then reach it back. Reach it over and then reach it back. You're just alternating sides. Active stretching, opening up the sides of the waist as you open up those inner thighs. We're almost done. We have 2 more stretches. Open the sides of the waist as you're stretching those inner thighs. I love these active stretches. Reach and reach and reach. Almost done here. Reach. Last 2 each side. 2. Here we go. Last 1 and 1. So I'm going to bring my legs together. Little butterflies. My feet, little stickies, were stuck to the mat there. So I'm going to bring my feet together and I'm going to just do a little butterfly bounce just to warm up. A little active stretching here. A few more breaths. Just taking a look at my knees. I want to stay nice and lifted, navel's pulled in. Strong and long in this workout. Last 2 are coming. Last 1. So from here, I want to go ahead and bring my feet together. And I'm going to finish off like I started with a foot stretch. So I'm going to place my hand right on my feet and open up. So I'm hugging my thighs to my chest and then opening up those feet. Let's take a breath. Let's take another. Last breath. And relax. So I'm so glad that you've joined me today, and I can't wait to see you for the next 7 days of 14-Day Fit.